is Saturday and it's day 6 of my project to try to finish a family tree book that I have been putting off for a while. So I did my facts audit. If you're just catching up, I made an audit sheet so I could go through and find out, okay, looking at the research I've already done, what am I missing? And I went through 101 people. I actually decided in yesterday's thing that I shared with you to add 2 more people, and I haven't done them yet because I haven't done any research on them ever. And I'm actually kind of going to save them towards the end because that's how excited I am to like research brand new, fresh people. But anyway, so going through the 101 people, I used this grid to figure out which facts did I have. This is what it ended up looking like. So I learned a couple of things. This is a new audit page that I made just for this project. And one of the columns I did was school name, and that was kind of dumb because school name is one of those things that you don't have. Like very quickly, I went back far enough that I just didn't have that for anybody. And some of these people, I could find it, but it wasn't even something that I was probably going to include in the 1-page summary. So it was sort of a dumb thing to include. I could have put something else there. I don't know what, maybe image or something like that. But anyway, so we're going to ignore that blank column. Otherwise, these blanks are things that I don't have. Now the X's are things that I don't have because they're not going to exist. So that's immigration information for people who weren't immigrants. And then for the women in the family, I actually went ahead and just crossed out military service because this particular family tree doesn't have any female veterans as far as I know. And I do have my handy whiteout right here because I already made a couple mistakes. So if I found a female veteran, then I could just white out that X. But yeah, I don't think that, I haven't found any so far. So looking at what was left, then I had to triage, okay, what did I want to focus on first? Oh, the brown lines are ancestors I haven't found. And so I decided that for the purposes of this book, people were going to be really interested in immigrants, like the immigrant ancestors, where they were coming from and what that story looked like, and then the veterans. So I wanted to work on that first. So I went through and I highlighted the immigrants that I don't have information for because I need to flesh that out. And it's not a ton. I mean, as you go back farther, you know, it drops off. There's more military people that I need to look up, but I'm going to start with the immigrants. And then the military people, these people that have blank spaces in their military service, it could be that I haven't found their military service so that I need to research it further. It could also be that they didn't serve in the military, but I need to look into that. So I'm going to go through and look at like the age range and figure out, okay, what military service, like what large wars would you have been possibly involved with, and then see if I can figure out if they were involved in any of those. I also made notes. Now, oh, I don't have the sample book right in front of me, but the book that I'm working on, it just has, it's going to have a profile page on one side and then a family tree on the other. And then I'm going to add additional pages for some ancestors. So I put in red the ones that I know I'm going to add. So this one, I'm going to have a 2-page spread about his World War I experience because he fought in World War I and was wounded and sent home. This is the ancestor I talked about yesterday, who died during the Spanish flu epidemic, and her ex-husband, who was the Wyoming cowboy. So they each get a spread. Then there's one she's a female railroad employee right at the beginning when the Union Pacific was sort of in its heyday. So I'm going to do a thing about her because she was the first railroad telegrapher who was a woman. This person's a Mormon pioneer who wrote out his, he kept a pioneer diary, like for the journey. And I've glanced through it. I've never really read through it. So I'm going to do a spread on him and look into him more closely. This is a Civil War wife who has a kind of an interesting story. And then this person, I think that's who I'm going to work on today because this story is crazy pants. So this is a Civil War veteran who was repeatedly captured. He also was somebody who entered into plural marriage. His third wife was his stepdaughter, and he had 21 children and ended up in California after he was original Mormon pioneer, but then he went all the way to California later where he became a politician. And there's kind of a lot, he's got those histories that were published in his lifetime that I think are really kind of inflated. And then people have sort of ran with that. There's things in his story that I'm like, there's histories where it's like, oh, he was just the most amazing stand-up guy. And then you look at some of the facts, like the fact that he entered into plural marriage with his stepdaughter when she was 16, and you're like, wait, let's poke at that a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna start with him today because he he's an interesting person, and that'll give me somebody to just focus on today. But as far as like these other holes that are there, these are things I'd like to get filled in, but it is a 30-day project. We're on day 6. I've got 24 days left. And as you go farther on, I have more blank spaces, not even necessarily because I don't have any of the facts, but because I need it to be verified. Where I have like a census that I found, but then there's a question mark because I haven't gone through to make sure that that is definitely like the right person in that area. I like to go through and make sure there's nobody else by that name in the area, things like that. And I haven't done that with some of the later generations. Anyway, I mean, I really, for a 30-day project, I'm obviously a lot farther ahead than I could be, right? Like, it's not like I haven't been researching this family, but it is interesting to see visually, like, oh, how do I just not have any death information for this person? Like, how is that much missing? How do I have like only a name for somebody and then absolutely nothing else, So anyway, that's the plan. So today I'm going to work on that one guy and just look into him. It's also Halloween weekend, so we're doing family stuff. And then I think between the military service or the immigrants, I think I'm going to start with the immigrants first. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to be diving into different immigration records and different places to find them. So I'll be sharing that.